Alright guys, welcome back to another recap. I am finishing the day green today, $634 profit. Total volume was 30,000, so keeping my share size is still small. I think I did hit the 5,000 share position at 1 or 2 points today, but wasn't able to capitalize on all of it. I took too much profit out, or too many shares out too early. But still locking in 634. Yesterday was $348 loss, so today recovers half of that, and even that on Tuesday I made 542. So I think I'm sitting at about $900 on the week. Not trading Monday because it was a holiday, and then tomorrow one more day to the week. So I think I traded pretty good today, so I'm happy with it. One of the stocks finally started opening up, which is the one that I was able to capitalize on and make almost $700 on, and then the other ones were just kind of paper cuts and paper stabs that I made some money on. So with that being said, guys, let's go over to Thinkorswim so I can show you my exact trades. Alright, so here is FFIE, which is the one that I was able to make $686 profit on it, close to $700. Before I go over the trades, guys, I am streaming live right here on YouTube, so you guys can watch me trade live. I've had about 50-60 people average every morning on YouTube, and I'm also streaming on tradecaster.com, which I've heard is a little bit better latency, sorry. And then the majority of the people that are pretty active are over on tradecaster.com, so the chat there is a lot more busier than the one on YouTube. But you can watch me wherever you want. I keep track of both chats, and any questions you guys have, you can ask me. Any stock you want me to look at, I will look at it. But yeah, so make sure to hit subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell, and then you can watch me trade live. And they are both free, so if you go over on Tradecaster and it asks for a payment, just cancel out of that. My lobby should be free. Alright, I'll stop rambling on and show you guys my trade. So FFIE, I knew FFIE before I started had a high of 6.4. So if I go back a couple days, that high is right here, and I have it marked. So 6.4, that's the high right there. And I knew that in the last months 6.4 was the highest. So yesterday I didn't touch it. You guys know I like to have an obvious target. So when it's down low, $2 off a high, I'm not going to pay attention to it. But when it starts gapping up again, gaining momentum, gaining attention, and then volume picks up on the stock, and now we're sitting at $1, and a half below the highs, I'm going to start looking at it and start actively trading it. So on this one, I actually saw it way down here, and I saw these two candles form that low, and this third candle start holding it as well. I almost jumped in on that right there. I called it, I looked at it, and I said, I kind of want to get in here. By the time I was about to click the buy button, it already spiked on me and didn't know if it was going to actually take out a new high of day, because this was the highest at that time. So I let it go through. I waited for it to actually break that high, that new high of day, close above it, and I took that next micro pullback. And this is one of the plays where I took 5,000 shares right away. Instant 5,000 shares at 550. Yeah, hindsight, if I would have held 5,000 shares from 550 all the way to 6, yeah, that would have been $2,000, $3,000 profit. But it never works like that, and I can't ever think like that. So you beginner or even intermediate people, you can't always think like that, because there's always going to be what if, hindsight, 2020, all that stuff, right? So I immediately got a pop in my favor, and I bought in at 558, and you can see that I started taking off at 567, 66, 68, 69. Next candle, I took some more out, and then that third candle right there. Here's where these 1,500 shares are the ones that I was like, this stock has potential to go to 6.4. I have 1,500 shares left, and I'm going to be patient on these, and then put a stop loss. I put it below this candle right here. And I said, I'm going to be patient. And then this candle pops up here, and it doesn't really rip higher. And I'm like, you know what? I'm down on the other stock because I traded the other stock first. And I was up 400 on this stock at the time. If this comes back and stops me out, I'll lose about 100, 150 on that trade, which will take my profit to 200 minus the 120 on the other one. I was doing math in my head. I was like, I would only literally be sitting at a $50 to $100 profit if this comes back and stops me. Or I can take my profit here and then lock in $300, $400 profit. So I was like, I'm just going to do that. So I locked it in, and then sure enough, that next candle holds that bottom low as well, which is where I had my stop below of, and then keeps on ripping. I chased a very small share size, so I bought in 500 and sold 500 here. 587, and then got about 10 cents on those 500 shares, so I was able to snipe below here. And then so that low of that candle's 87, so it looks like I got a fill of 587, and the spike of this candle was 6.1, which I was able to sell at 6.98. So I had a pretty good trade there with only 500 shares. And then I was watching for this break of downtrend here. That was the next trade. I decided to let that all go through, do its pullback, and then right here is when I decided to jump in on that trade again. One nice engulfing candle on the way up. Here's the second part where I decided to buy in and stop out really early. You can see a 4,500 share position, but I actually bought 3,000 at first. And I stopped out almost right away. So I bought them at 590, and I stopped out at 590 as well. So on 2,500 shares, and or 3,000 shares right there. So 595. So that was a scratch trade. I jumped in 3,000 shares and I stopped 3,000 shares within that same price. I took 500 profit here and then stopped out below with 2,500 shares at break even. And then I was like, you know what? This candle pulled back down and held that low. And you know what? I was like, maybe I got a little too impatient on that one. So I'm going to re-enter this trade with 1,500 shares. Half of the position that I had, but those 1,500 shares immediately the second I bought, and those were at, it looks like it was one of these two, so 590 again. 590, but then those 1,500 shares I was able to ride up a little bit higher, all the way up to 604, 613. Even started taking some profit out here at 616, 605. And then once again, we had a triple top right here, 3 candles, which was a high of day at the time. I let it do its thing. I let it pull back and found the break of downtrend again, and that is when I re-entered that trade. So 500 shares again. So let it pull back, find a low, re-entered at 618, back for the break of highs. I got that break with very small share size, so 518, sold at 624, so about 10 cents of profit again, 10, 15 cents of profit. Re-entered on a pullback, and then kind of was just getting chopped around here. I think I ended up taking a few losses here and there. So this one looks like I bought a 626, was able to sell 634, 40, 639, and then stopped out for the remaining at about break even. So I was able to get myself a nice profit of $686. I think I traded this pretty good. The only thing maybe I could have done better was held my trades a little bit longer. Held maybe more of this trade right here for 5,000 shares. Maybe held that initial one right there. And then on this break of downtrend, I played it very, very small. I was already up pretty decent on the day, $600 probably. That I dropped my share size a lot, so I went down to 500 on that breakout. But I could have jumped in again 1,500, 3,000 shares anywhere in this area and still gotten a nice move. Obviously, I never would have known that to happen or anything like that, so I left it alone. Then I did have this downtrend on it, so this is the whole backside of it. Actually, I'm kind of upset I wasn't able to short this stock because right here at 626 is when I said if I could go short, I would click the sell button right now. And that would have been my entry and instant flush, instant fade right away. Would have written it all the way down to VWAP, would have been my first take profit, and then maybe a little bit after that until this downtrend broke, and that would be your entry to go long again. But yeah, that was one of the stocks. The other one was GROV, which was my other winner. This was just a one-hit shot, real quick. Actually kept rallying up a little bit. I saw it here. Somebody called it out on my stream that it got halted, and I think they took the resumption higher, so I left that one alone. It pulled back. I knew that this was 649, so that half dollar psychological resistance was going to be 650. So I had that in mind. Once this volume picked up here, so you can see kind of volume is lower, but this one green candle here picked up volume like crazy, and I just happened to see it, so I decided to immediately follow through for that break of 650, hold 650, and potentially $7, which was my target. So I got in 500 shares, very small share size again at 656, and I was able to take some 15 cents of profit and 20 cents of profit on this one, all the way back up to 676. Again, I could have been a little bit more patient. I wanted $7. I had a $7 in mine, and I sold about 25 cents below $7, so I wasn't as patient as I should have been. But it was a small hit, $70 profit. I mean, I'll take it. And then my red trade was USEA, which this stock, I could have been green on it actually. I've had very, very small ads for very small profits. So in the morning, I had an uptrend drawn somewhere in here. Somewhere in there, somewhere around there. So these 2 points and that one right there. And I started adding on this stock down on these red candles, which actually it's not showing me my trades. So there we go. Yeah, those 2 candles I started adding. You can see I added at 775, which was right here, 775, the bottom of that candle, and this one 777, so a little bit higher. But at the spike of this green candle here, I was up about $150, and I didn't take my profit because I wanted this stock to break $8. $8 was my whole number that I was targeting, and it couldn't break it. So I was being patient to at least hit $8 again, and I didn't get it. So I stopped out on those. So I lost a little bit of money, and then I had this nasty flush down here that I had a downtrend resistance drawn somewhere like that. And I knew that that fell all the way to it, so I decided to click the buy button there again at 728. So the low of this candle was 721. So I sniped that within 7 cents at the bottom again. And I don't know why I wasn't patient on these shares again either, because it came right back down to that low. And I decided to stop out. I decided to stop out at a loss. So I bought in at 728 and sold at 724 way down here again. So I took a loss on those, which was 500 shares. But if it would have spiked all the way up here, that still would have been another $100 of profit there. But didn't take that. And then kind of chopped around in here, and at that point I decided to leave the stock alone just because of how it was behaving and all that stuff. So that is it for this recap, guys, and I will see you on the next one tomorrow or on the live streams.